Welcome back, guys. In today's video, I am just so proud and I'm so excited to be bringing on Jonathan, who is my new business partner. And in today's video, we will be revealing our new brand that we recently launched on Amazon.com. And I'm just so excited. We have been working on this brand for the last 18 months and we have launched in the last month. So we've been waiting to launch in order to share with you guys our brand and our story. So in today's video, Jonathan will be joining me and we'll be telling the story of how we met, how we came up with the idea, how we partnered up, and obviously also we'll be revealing our brand. Now, we don't get too much into the actual products, etc. We will be doing that in future videos. I have taken a year off from creating content for all sorts of different reasons. You can learn about that in this video up here. But because the algorithm currently pretty much hates me, I would really appreciate it if you hit subscribe if you are interested in seeing more content from me. And also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and definitely comment below. I'd love to hear what you have to say and also what you would like to see in future videos as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. Jonathan, how are you?
Hi, Sharon.
Well, so I asked you to come on because we are going to reveal our new brand that we have built together. We've co-founded together. But before we get into actual reveal, I think it's super important for us to talk about how we actually got here and how our brand was built. So do you want to maybe just start off with introducing yourself and who you are?
Yeah, of course. Hello, everyone. I'm Jonathan, as Sharon's just mentioned. I live in the UK, currently in London. Just a little bit of background about myself. I worked or did work in kind of corporate world for about 15 years, always in marketing for some of the, probably some of the biggest brands in the world, from retail to airlines through to a huge entertainment company. And then I went into marketing consulting for around about 10 years. That took me to living in the US for around about 3-4 years. And then in 2019, I was really inspired by a couple of friends of mine who actually built a brand on Amazon. And the success that I saw that they achieved was incredible. And it also really inspired me about how you could look at building a brand, because I'm very passionate about brands, which we'll speak about, but how you could actually build a brand from nothing on Amazon. It was incredible. So that was my story initially. And then that led me to many different directions. I went down a done for you route, which was a huge learning, but ended up being quite a big mistake. And then I found Sharon through YouTube. I think it was trying to get my head around PPC at the time. And then just really connected with Sharon's content and how clear and thoughtful she was, and then ended up joining Sharon's product research course, joined the calls, and then we ended up getting into a coaching relationship. And so that's it really, without going
and the rest is history.
Exactly. And it's great history.
It is great history. So Jonathan, as you guys could tell, started off as a client, and we'll tell our story soon of how we've built this amazing brand. But through working together, we took all sorts of ideas that we had, combined them, mishmashed them, and built this amazing brand. The reason that we have decided to share our brand openly, because it's not really something that is that anyone really does usually, and specifically in the Amazon world. And it's something that you really struggled with, Jonathan, because you're so not used to people being now, you know, my brands behind the scenes, you know, a lot about stuff that I've been involved in, but I'm sure that you can also realize today why I can't really share them. They're not as, I guess, protected as what we have, of what we've built. And the reason that we've decided to use this as an example as well is to inspire people that it can still be done in 2024 and beyond. Okay, this brand, even though we've been working on it for 18 months, we only launched it this year. There's 2 products that have already been launched. So it's to inspire people and to show that it still can be done. B, there's so many learnings in here, but also it's so much easier to learn when you actually have an example, right? So we will eventually share, and you guys can maybe sort of get the hint from the products behind me that, we have built a kids brand, and we'll share about that soon. But this specifically is a kids brand, but you can build anything if you know how to position yourself correctly, and all sorts of different things that we'll talk about here. So Jonathan, as he mentioned, he joined my product research workshop and course, which I no longer sell anyway, so no one's trying to sell anything to you guys. And then from there we started working one-on-one together. And part of what I do when someone starts working with me, when they want to start selling something or building a new brand, etc., is we always need a starting point. Not everyone has a starting point. I sent Jonathan away to fill out an Excel sheet with all sorts of different questions. Questions like, what are your hobbies? What are your partner's hobbies? What are family members? Problems that may arise, problems that you have, all sorts of different questions. And one of the questions on there were problems that your family members may face. And you had written a problem that your mum was going through. Not sure it was a problem, but it was a starting point. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Which led us down this rabbit hole of products for seniors, more or less. And we had found a few different niches together. Now, something that you already knew from your background in marketing and branding, and something that then our 2 worlds sort of came together was we'd always spoken about positioning, differentiation, and the ability to build a brand and not try and sell a product. And while we had together looked into further into the specific niche or specific product type, I had a totally different idea for a totally different brand. And because I have many different ideas for different products, which I can't always bring all of my ideas to life, I give a lot of ideas away to clients. And this different idea that I had was to build a brand around, it was sort of an educational brand, where to sell a certain product type that would also include educational books, basically, for kids. And I'd given that idea to someone else, and that person specifically would have been the perfect, well, not really in the end, right? Because in the end, you and I were the perfect ones to do it, but would have been like the perfect person to create that brand, because that person was also a writer as well. And I'd given them this idea, and I will never forget this. And he said to me, Sharon, it's a really, really good idea, but it's going to take so long. It will take more than a year to bring it to life. And I want to start Amazon right now. And I said, okay, no problem. I won't get more into what happened with that person. But then I shared the idea with you, and I also told you about it. And we were able to take your ideas, my ideas, mishmash them together, and come up with this amazing brand. Before we expose the brand, do you want to sort of share anything there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was like you said, it was a meeting of worlds in some respects, because like Sharon said, the brand that we've developed is for kids, and obviously Sharon has got a huge amount of experience in the kids niche as well as being a mum. And then I also hadn't even thought about it this time, but I had worked for kids brands, essentially some of the biggest brands in the world for kids. And it just naturally came together. And then we ended up writing a book,
We
which is
did.
what happened. And we were still to this day, like we've written now 3 books.
The,
You know,
the thing is, though, the thing about the books is we're not a book brand, right? We're not a book brand. We can say today that we have more or less, we're a character brand. We'll share it in a minute. People are probably just waiting for us to share it already. But I think it's important to talk about how we got here. So I had shared with Jonathan this idea. We were looking into a different niche. And what we ended up doing with the first product was actually still taking the same niche that you had found and looked into, but using and it was actually a strategy for differentiation and for positioning and for protecting ourselves from copycats, from Chinese copycats. That's what it really was originally. Taking the ideas that I had from a different brand and implementing it here, and instead of going from seniors, changing it to kids. But it was all originally just about differentiation, positioning, and trying to be able to, as much as we can, protect ourselves from copycats. And it evolved so much, and we have recorded a lot of our calls together. We recorded them for the sake of one day. We said maybe one day we'll bring it out to the world. We recorded it for those purposes. Like we're no longer on a client, like coach type of relationship for a long time. We've turned this into a partnership quite a while ago already. But we recorded them for the sake of people. Like we have a recording. I think it's 5 hours of a recording where we had just received the video for one of the products from our videographer. And we watched the video together, and although it was a great video, we had realized that it took us so long to get to the point of the product, the differentiation of the product. And it took us 5 hours to come up with a new story for it.
I think it was your 2 a.m. by the time we finished on that call, Sharon.
Oh man, it was.
It was a good call, though.
It was a great call. And you know what? We now have, I think, one of the best videos, that at least I've made, and I've created many briefs from many videos. We've made amazing products. We've also made amazing videos. So what started off as how do we differentiate ourselves? How do we give ourselves the opportunity to it was also never about selling a product. It was always about building a brand and being able to, things that we had thought about from the get-go were not only to have the potential to sell more products under that brand, but also we'd always thought about how to also, things that we thought about from the very beginning were how to be able to sell off Amazon, how to be able to make sure that we're building a brand that is very social media worthy. From the very beginning of the product development of all of these products, we did so much research. We spent hours. Also, we brought a lot of your experience as well from working in specific different types of brands that you've worked with on things that were important for our buyers. But we also did a lot of research on competitors as well. But on differentiation, we also had always thought about how we can also upsell and resell to the same type of buyer. These are things that we'd always thought about from the very beginning. And I think that's how we can say what the brand is, if you're ready.
Yeah.
And that's how Snug Shine was born. So Snug Shine is our brand that we built. We wanted a different name originally. It's interesting how things evolve. Do you remember?
I think there's a separate video in that. Sorry, content in that, isn't there? In terms of
there is
naming.
We wanted a different name originally, and the name was not trademarkable. Remember that? We went on and saw. So we had changed the name, but at the end of the day, what was important for us that the name represented what was important for us. And part of the positioning, because there's many other brands that do something similar to what we do, but we do it. Part of our positioning, apart from the gimmicky elements that the products have, part of the positioning was to make sure that this was a fun brand that brings like sunshine into kids' lives.
Yeah.
What do you want to share, Jonathan, about
No, I agree. In terms of, the evolution of where we got to, but even from when, like we'd spoken about, we started, in the seniors niche and we ended up in the kids niche, but there's still a commonality of what we were trying to do from a brand point of view, that we wanted something that just made people feel happy and it was fun. And that is definitely where we're differentiated from the direct competitors, I will say. And then as Sharon mentioned, we've developed characters as well, which is another differentiation point, which we will cover in depth at some point, I'm sure. But it's just led us to what I believe is a really special place of how we can keep evolving. And we have to rein ourselves in a little bit sometimes, because we're just like, what about this? What about this? What about this? And I think that's proof point for us that there's many different, areas that the brand can move in that's still true to what the brand represents, but you can just extend it into many different product categories, which is, where we will get to. And we've already spoken about, 3 or 4 more, let's say, spin-off products to one character already that are actually relatively easy to implement in comparison to just getting the first product off the ground.
It's interesting hearing you say that, because a lot of people struggle to even come up with one idea. And we've gotten to a point that we keep having so many ideas. We've got too many ideas for, what we can actually launch today. And that's something that has evolved over time. That wasn't like that from the very beginning. We're 18 months in now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe we should just, before we sort of wrap it up, maybe we should just share a little bit about how many products have been launched.
Yeah.
So we launched the first product in
March.
Yeah. We launched the first product in March. I will be accountable and say that I fucked up a little bit on the first launch, where I put keywords that I should know better. It was very much a rookie mistake, where I'm very, very experienced. But I'd put keywords like anxiety in our, what do you want to say?
I probably would just counteract that and say that for the product that we launched, if I was looking at this objectively, if I looked at the competitors listing all of those words. So why?
I know, but I should have known better. Because
all
I
I'm
know
saying is that's what can happen. That is the idiosyncrasies of Amazon, that you can see one competitor, even you look at a listing image, they've got a background. How the hell have they got background on there? We can't have a background. That's just what happens. And it's just a nature of how I've certainly learned from that experience, and we got over it. It took a few months, but we definitely got over it. So
that's the lesson there that I wanted to say, that I made a rookie mistake. Even though I'm extremely, extremely experienced, I should have known this already. And I put keywords like anxiety into the back end, and then the title, I put anxiety everywhere, and a few other words. And it basically triggered on Amazon, and we had many, many, many issues for the first couple of months that took a long time to fix, even though we got other people involved, and we had, certain
I think there were 2 aspects, wasn't there? There was the bit about the keywords, which again, all the competitors were still are full of the keywords, and actually the product does serve that purpose. But also, because we had a book with the product, that was also triggering
that's true.
Changes with the browse nodes that we had to get over as well, and which has helped us for our second product to understand how it's positioned, but also then it's category led. And that's just the nature that I've certainly learned of Amazon, that there's no common denominator in anything. It can be on what category you're in, or what words you're using, or what image you're using. It's just how you just keep, and like we did, just keep experimenting to get to a stronger place, which is what we did.
But I think a good thing though that we both know is though that everything is figure outable.
Yes.
Everything is figure outable. It was very frustrating. It was very annoying. I totally forgot. You know what? I totally forgot about the book part, because the product is, the product that it is, and it also comes with a book. I fully forgot that it was triggering that. But yes, we learnt from experiences. I won't use the word mistakes, because every single mistake, let's put it that way, that was made led us to learning something else that helped us to improve on other things in other products. So the launch didn't go as planned. And it, at the same time as working on the first product, we were already also working on the second and the third. We basically worked on 3 products at once, more or less, not exactly.
Which for me is a very interesting, probably put it out to your audience, Sharon, as a learning, is when you've got 3 products in very different stages of development, it can play with your mind a little bit. And it's something that I've learned anyway over time, but it's just like, oh, where are we with this one and what's happening here, and it's yeah. But we're in a different place now because they're all progressed. But when you are dealing with 3 very different cycles of product development, can be challenging.
Yeah, I think that's like a whole other video on when is the right time to we were able to do it because of the experience that we both have. So we were able to do it. Not everyone should work on 3 products at once. It's it's a lot of money. B, it's a huge headache. And C, sometimes there are things can fuck up in every single one of them, and sometimes multiple things can go wrong. We won't get into it in this video, but we had a lot of stuff that we had to learn about on a compliance level, and some of the products require a battery and all sorts of different things that I had also not been through in the past. I did not sell products that required batteries in the past. You spend a lot of time, learning about button burning, all sorts of different things as well. And I think that we were able to do that just because each of us comes with experience in different aspects of those things that we've gone through. So the first product launch didn't go as we thought it would go, but definitely improving, taught us a lot. And the second product was launched 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago. We have, at the time of recording, 19 reviews on the second product. We were able to get 19 reviews simply because the product arrived into Amazon. The second product arrived into Amazon before everything was ready, right? Which is not necessarily something that you want to happen, but it did, and sometimes it happens before the images, etc., were ready. So what we did,
shipping was much quicker than was estimated.
That's true.
45 days, and it took 18. So.
Yeah, that's true. Shipping did. So what we did find, always looking for, a bit of what we can turn a bad situation to a good situation. What we did was we put 4 now images up, and we utilized Vine. So in the meantime, our Vine reviewers were getting the product, so that when we did launch, by the way, we could have launched with 0 reviews. I've launched hundreds of products with 0 reviews because I only create highly differentiated products as well. But we have, so 3 and a bit weeks in, 18 Vine reviews. Almost all of them are at least 4 to 5 stars. Some even made a mistake. I think one of them made a mistake and put 3 stars when she meant to do 5.
Yeah, she wrote the nicest review, and it's so long and it's so positive. And it's like 3 stars, but anyway, it is what it is.
Yeah. And then we've, I think, sold almost 300 units.
Yes. Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Of the second one, almost 300 units. Now, people will be waiting for us to speak about the money aspect of this. We know that it's going to take a while for us to actually be able to see profits from this, because so much, and we'll make separate content about that. But there was a lot of money up front here that many other people won't need to have because we had books, because we wrote the books more or less ourselves. We wrote the books ourselves, but we had to bring in an illustrator. There was a lot of cost that maybe other people won't have.
And what I will probably say on that is that we actively made the decision that we wanted to invest in very high quality illustrations, which some people might not want to, but we had made the decision that that was very, very important to our brand. And it's not cheap. So, but that was strategic. It wasn't just something that, you know, we were surprised about the costs. We prepared for them essentially.
Yeah. So a lot of money for someone who is obviously not going to, let's just say, and by the way, the reason that we're sharing this brand publicly is because we believe we've done a very, very good job at the intellectual property. We have copyrights and trademarks, etc., on everything. And we are not trying to sell products. We're trying to build a brand which is on Amazon and beyond, which includes a very strategic social media and influencer strategy. And you know, we have our own website. We're still building this, right? We're only 2 products in, and it's still being built. But we hope that when you watch this, whoever's watching this, that you can also learn from it, because it's so much easier to learn by example rather than be told what someone did. And just because someone did a really good job at making millions, you know, in 2016 doesn't mean they necessarily know how to build, you know, a new brand today. So I think that we're trying to lead by example. And so the second product, we're around 300, sold around 300 units in the first 3 weeks. That will obviously improve. We're also, let's be real, launching at a good time before Q4, and these are kids products as well. But not every single kid product, you know, does well. It's doing well because we did a really good job at the execution. And the reviews have been really good on both the products. You know, the first product has like 50 something reviews. On a 4.7 star rating. So and
kids and parents alike are loving them. It's the whole loved by kids, approved by parents, and that is a success for me. That does mean a lot to me. It's very important. And as Sharon talked about, you know, to build a brand, a profitable brand, takes time. And you know, I'm sure everybody's seen or watched content saying, you know, I'm profitable within day one. That's very unlikely. It does take time, and it's a long game. So, and that's what we're in it for, essentially.
We always do. It just reminds me of, you know, that how I gave a different idea, not this idea, but a similar idea to a different client, and how he said to me, you know, it'll take too long, right? And that's one way to look at it. And then there's someone like you, right, who we were able to execute this, and you're amazing in general. Like, I can give an idea, and by tomorrow you'll have it all planned out. This is why we make such a good team, and you, Jonathan, are amazing, and I couldn't have done this without you. I think it definitely goes both ways. But we have built this in a way where we just want to share it with the world, right? But we hope that you can also learn from what we're sharing, and there will be ups and downs, and there have been a lot of downs, not downs, but we've had a lot of obstacles that we've had to overcome. Even though I've come from a lot of experience, and Jonathan also comes from a lot of experience, there were things that we had never gone through before. And building this, you know, we became three authors. We became authors. We've written 3 books. We had never, you know, written a book before. We had to learn how to do that, and all sorts of things. We've done so much here. So in future content, we will obviously share. We'd love to hear your feedback and what's important for you, to what you'd like us to whether it be me or Jonathan or together create content about. But we would, in future content, we'll obviously also use Snug Shine as an actual example. We'll give an update, probably in a month or so, about where we're at. Anything else you want to share?
No, I just build on that, Sharon, by saying that the reason that, it's important to both of us is that we're here to hopefully inspire. I go back to the fact that I was inspired by friends of mine, seeing, how they built a very successful brand, which they sold very quickly, and it just inspired me. So we're trying to bring that back. We're really proud of what we've developed. The brand is something very special, and that's something very special to us. We're not doing it for glory, we're doing it to help, and we want people to think this is possible for you, and that is really important to both of us as people, and that's what we're trying to bring to you. And like Sharon mentioned earlier, I struggled a little bit when I first sort of started discovering the Amazon world, that it was very cloak and dagger and very secretive. And yes, commercial worlds are too, but it's how you expect it to learn when it's all ethereal and you don't really understand, other than somebody telling you something, but there's no tangible proof of it. It's just somebody saying it. And I think this is what we're showing, warts and all. We are showing you successes because there are already successes, but there are things that, we've learned from. I've certainly learned from, and you'll learn from. I'm not saying it's a perfect world, but that's why we want to share this with you. That's really important for us both, I believe.
And also to show that it can still be done in 2024 and 2025. And in general, people are always going to buy products, right? They're always going to buy physical products. But what matters here is the branding and the positioning and wanting to actually build a brand. And they're having a strategy. Our strategy was, at the end of the day, to build a brand that's focused on a very specific type of buyer avatar or a specific age group. By including books, we pigeonholed ourselves to a specific age group as well. This isn't for like 12-year-olds. It's right. So we focused on a very specific niche, but we also have the ability to fully dominate within that niche because of the differentiations that we bring to the table. And it was never about, it's probably the most important thing for me, it was never about selling products. It's about building a brand. We have a brand strategy, and we may show that in the future as well. And it was all about Amazon and beyond. And we're just really excited to be able to use real examples and share that with the world. So Jonathan, thanks for agreeing to come on here. And in general, I appreciate you so much.
Oh, likewise.
I don't get along with everyone, but you and I, it's not somehow, we get along because, we're a good fit on a business level, and we're also become really, really great friends as well. But I think that, we're doing something amazing together. So thank you so much as well for coming on. And obviously you guys will see Jonathan often. We'll make videos together. And this is very much also outside of your comfort zone. That's another thing. It's another big win for you as well. Very much outside of your comfort zone, but well done. So, all right. So thanks, Jonathan, also for coming on. If anyone is I still do one-on-one coaching. If anyone is interested in working with me, you can go to sharonevan.com and book a call with me. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I know that, but by the way, this is also I hope also, there's many reasons why I took a step back from YouTube. But something that, I think is also important to remember is I've actually been building as well. I may have taken a step back from making content, but I never took a step back from developing products and building, and Jonathan's been also a part of that. Anyway, so if you haven't subscribed, please do. And I'll see you guys in our future videos. Thanks, Jonathan.
Bye.